Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. So in today's video I'll be showing the stitching process of this off shoulder padded dress. Before we proceed, if you're here to subscribe to this channel, please hit on the subscribe button, like and share. So guys, let's get started. So I went ahead to cut out my fabric with the pattern paper we just made, and I left about half an inch on the sides on this part and also on the other part of the front. And next we'll be adding the padded to this front bodice. I'm just ruling out my under bust line and making a straight rule because that's where the padded is going to stop and it will extend all the way upwards. So I'll be using this wording as my padded for this tutorial. So I'll just place the front, that is the center front of my fabric like so. I'm just going to mark out the shape I have on my neckline and also on the sides, and it's going to stop at the under bust. Our padded is not going to extend beyond the under bust, so I'm just cutting out this pattern I drew out from the center front, and I'm just going to cut it out like so. Extra info on a wording: a part of it is shining. If you're familiar with a wording, a part of it is shining. That shining part is where the gum lies, so that's where we'll be placing on the wrong side of the fabric. So for the side front, I'm just going to try to get my bust line. So I'm just mark my bust line like so. Then I'll go in on the bust line by 4 inches. On bust line I went in by 4 inches, then I'll connect that 4 inches to the top part of my fabric and also on the under bust part. So I'm just going to make a curve from the 4 inch to the under bust and also on the top part of the fabric. So I'll be using that pattern to cut out for the wording. So yeah, I already went ahead to cut out the wording using my curve I created from the 4 inches. Then on the side I just used the side of the fabric. So guys, this is what all the pattern looks like. I went ahead to iron them to the wrong part of the front, so I'll be going ahead to stitch them by the half an inch allowance we left while cutting out on the pattern. So I'm just going to join it like so, and so by half an inch. We'll be sewing from the down part. So it's still from the down by half an inch up to the top. So here I have my back pattern. I went ahead to slash open the darts line on the pattern paper and I added half an inch seam allowance for joining the center back and the side back. So I'm just going to join by half an inch on this side and also on this other side. So here I have the down part of the dress. I'll be calling it like the skirt part. So I went ahead to cut the lining for it, and it is 1 inch shorter at the down part. So the joining of the skirt, I have a video for that. I'll be putting it in the description link below so you can know how I joined the down part of the dress. So guys, I've gone ahead to join the front part, and this is what it looks like. And this is what it looks like at the wrong part. I went ahead to iron flat my seams. So here I'll be cutting off that extra we have there like so. So to cut it off, I'm just going to fold it like so, center to center. Then I'm just going to use my scissors to cut off the extras we have here, just like so. So this is what it looks like. So we have like a normal sweetheart neckline we're going for. So I also did the same thing I did on the fabric to a lining. I went ahead to sew by half an inch like so. Then I'll be joining the lining to the main fabric, right side facing right side, and I'm going to also trim off these excesses on the lining, then join on the neckline and also on the sides. So guys, I also did my back. I went ahead to sew half an inch on the dart area, and I also went ahead to do the same for the lining. I'll also go ahead and iron flat my seam on the wrong part of my main fabric and also the lining. Then on the lining, you can see I labeled where my zipper allowance is and where it's supposed to be at the up part. So I'm just going to place it right side facing right side and sew on the zipper area, the neckline, and on the sides like so. So guys, I have gone ahead to sew for the front part on the neckline and on the sides, and I'm just flipping it to the right side of the fabric. So once I'm done, you can see our lining is like bulging out of the right side of the fabric. So what I'll be doing, I'll use my hemming gum. You can get your hemming gum from any tailoring store. So I'll put my hemming gum in between my main fabric and the lining like so, and make sure your lining is, you drag it like inside so it doesn't show. Then I'll go ahead and iron. So guys, I ironed my hemming gum to the lining, and this is what it looks. It looks very sharp. So guys, I'll be joining my back parts to the front part. First of all, I'll be joining the down part of the skirt to the which is the front part, to the front part of our upper bodice, just like so. I'll place it like so and join by the seam allowance I left. So I will do same for the back part also. I'll join one part of the back to one part of the back for the top like so. Then join by the seam allowance to the left, and also for the other parts also. So once I was done joining for the center like so, then we'll go ahead and place them on each other like so. Then next I'll be going ahead to mark out my zipper allowance. So just mark out the zipper allowance you left, and after marking out, you're just going to make a straight stitch to the down part. So guys, I was done joining the front bodies to the down part, and this is what I have. And also the back bodies, I went ahead to join it to the down part and also sew together my zipper allowance on the side. And also guys, I'll be marking my body measurement on the back part of the dress due to the padded we have at the front. You can also mark it at the front, but I'll be marking mine at the back part. So I'm just marking, I'll measure my bust measurement divided by 2, then I'll mark it out. Then the waist measurements divided by 2. I'll also mark what I have out like so. Then I'll go down and get my hip allowance, my hip line, sorry. So I'll mark out my hip measurement divided by 2. Whatever I have, I'm just going to remove the allowance and mark out my original measurement. So I'm just going to join my waistline to my hip line, then my bust line to my waistline. I'll do so on the other side of the dress. So for the hemline, we'll be minusing 1 inch from the hip line. So whatever we have on the hip line minus 1, then I'm just going to mark out what we have like so. Then make a straight rule from the hip line down to the hemline. So once I was done marking out my measurements, I'm just going to place the back part of the dress to the front part, right side facing right side. I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine and sew on those lines we just made. So guys, I was done sewing, and this is what I have after joining the back part to the front part. So this is what it is looking like, and this is the back part. I also left about 4 inches for my slit, and next we'll be modifying the armhole. So I'm just going to flip this over to the wrong side. So for the armhole, I'm just placing my 6, which was the original starting point. Then I'll mark out 8 inches, which is my original armhole. So I'm just going to place my tape on 6, then mark out my armhole, which is 8 inches. Then I'll measure my front width, which is our chest line. So my chest line is 11 inches and I'm having about 13 inches here. So that means I'll be removing 1 inch on both sides of the front width. So I'm just going to mark out my 1 inch like so on this part and on the other part. So once I'm done removing my 1 inch, I'll just measure to make sure I have 11 inches. So guys, my video went ahead and stopped here. I had an error. So after I did this part, having my 11 inches, I'll just go ahead and make a curve rule from that 11 inches I have to the 8 inches, which was my armhole. Just curve your rule, guys. Sorry about that. So guys, once I was done curving it, I'm just going to measure what I have from my back armhole to my front armhole. I have about 8 inches. Then I'll be using that to cut for the sleeve. So guys, I went ahead to fold for my sleeve. The calculation for folding the sleeve, I'll put it right here on the top of this video. So I went ahead to fold about 8.5 inches for the one part of the sleeve. So my the main sleeve I'll be needing is about 4.5. So I'm just going to mark out that 4.5 like so. Then I'll have like 1 inch at the top for folding the sleeve. So I'm just going to rule out that 1 inch. So all my measurements will start from below this 1 inch. So I'm just going to place my 6 inches, which is my off shoulder. I'm just going to place it like so, and also mark out my armhole 8 inches like so. I'm just going to extend that line to have like an armhole shape. So I'm just going to make that curve to that 6 inches point like so. So next, I'll be measuring the length of the sleeve. The length I'll be using is 4 inch plus 1 inch for folding allowance. So I'm just going to extend that line and also roll it out. So I'll be marking my round arm measurement. So I'm just going to mark it like so, divided by 2, then add my seam allowance to it. And I'll go also roll that line, connect my round sleeve to my armhole I have there. So I'm just going to cut it out. So I'll be using this to cut out for the second sleeve. So what we'll be doing next, I'm just going to fold in that 1 inch seam allowance we left. So I'm just going to fold it in like so. Then I'll be doing so for the down part also. So guys, I went ahead to sew for my sleeve and also join the seam allowance. So I'll be placing one point of it to the front part of my dress and the other point to the back part of my dress. Then the seam allowance I have for the sleeve and also on the dress will be at the center point like so. And I'll take it to a sewing machine and sew by 1/2 inch on the side. I'll also do same for the other parts of the sleeve and show you guys the final look. So this is what the finished look of our off-shoulder padded dress looks like. So guys, if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe, like and share, and we'll see you in the next class. Bye.